All right, we're finally live. Hello, guys. Nice to see you here. Unfortunately, Alex has some connection issues, so today I'm going to be the only one presenting to you our past month's developments, and we'll be talking about what we have done so far. Lots of exciting news, as usually. But the problem is we didn't actually prepare a nice presentation for you because we didn't have time, but I have a draft, so I'll be sharing that draft, and hopefully you're here not for the prettiness, but for the information. So all the information you need is going to be present there. So let me share my screen, and I will be sharing a presentation for now. Yeah. All right. Okay, so I hope everyone can see my screen. So once again, I'm happy to have you guys here. I'm really excited for this, our 17th in a row community call. And here is our agenda. So as you probably may know from our announcements, our team has been participating in the Amsterdam event, and I'm going to be sharing some exciting pictures with you later on. Pretty much Alex, he's now in Amsterdam, and he was there connecting with all the Polka projects. He was on the Parachain gathering in Amsterdam, and we'll cover that in a while. There's also some exciting news about our team opening up an office in Lisbon, and we'll cover that later as well. Some news will be covered and some progress on our parachain onboarding and how we're dealing with that, what we have done so far, what are still our plans, what needs to be done to fully onboard, and last but not least, I will be sharing with you our development updates. As usual, we've been very busy, and our dev team is busy all the time, 24/7. I will share with you some announcements and changes on the EQ lockup for the team. As you know, we have a team allocation, and it hasn't been distributed yet. And since the whole process of becoming a parachain actually got spread out for the past year, and we only got our slot, we will be amending that. And also one important announcement about the Republic partnership and our upcoming Republic event. So let's proceed. Well, first of all, the Amsterdam event. As you can see, it was really fun. Alex had a lot of fun there. He met a lot of people from all the different projects. I can see guys from Akala here. I can see people from Centrifuge on these photos. And well, just like you guys, I've seen these photos only today, and I guess it was really productive. And Alex hasn't shared some more details with us yet, but he's met a lot of people there, has done a lot of business connections, talked to a lot of ecosystem projects, met a lot of funds and partners. Also, one of our business tasks as of right now is actually onboarding large market makers and liquidity providers, because we want to, significantly boost our TVL, and both in market maker pools and in the platform overall. So that's also one course of the business Alex has been up to, and he's also been hooking up with some community influencers. And overall, it looks like the meetup was lots of fun. As you can see from the pictures, the weather was great, so that's a good thing, and it was an outdoors event. And on that event, we even presented our upcoming Polka Defiance event, which is scheduled for tomorrow. So I highly encourage you to join all there as well. We'll have lots of different panels and lots of .sama ecosystem related discussion, both from industry leaders, different projects, and some funds and community and influencers. And we have the whole schedule on the website, so please go ahead and see and pick the panel you would like to watch, and please come and join us. yeah, so that's it for the Amsterdam. Then there was a parachain gathering in Amsterdam, and lots of topics were covered. Among them are marketing strategy, community growth, event participation, XCM integrations, how should projects participate in the overall growth of ecosystem, how they should interconnect, how they should cooperate for the better of the entire .sama community. And still lots of information from there to be shared. And we will be releasing, I guess, 1 or 2 articles. We'll be discussing everything that happened there in a greater detail. But as you can see, looks like this event was fun as well. And most of all, the teams, they also got a chance to interact with the Parity team directly, because Parity, they were organizers of this parachain gathering event. Hopefully the guys there managed to align the interest of the projects and interest of the Parity, and utmost the interest of the community, which supports all the ecosystem. So that's it for the event. I wasn't really prepared to cover these slides because I was expecting Alex to cover those, but as I already told you, definitely stay in touch. We will be sharing some information on our social media channels and in our blog, where we will tell you more details about what actually happened there in Amsterdam. All right, then the good news and exciting news, we are opening up an office branch in Lisbon, and our executive team will relocate there in May. And the actual office opening is planned for June. And right now, I believe Alex will be traveling there, so he's looking for the office space. And our core business team will be sitting there. That's related to our business dev, our marketing team. And we're also announcing plans on expansion. And we're looking for CMO, our head of growth, and the business developer director. So these positions, they require some, I would say more of a soft skills than hard skills, because most of our team is currently concentrated on hard skills and programming and doing everything technical. And we want to, expand and extend and make our business department keep up with with that exceptional stuff we do here with the tech guys. So we have lots of positions there open. We're opening up a new office, and it's a perfect opportunity for professionals to join our team and to lead this whole Equilibrium project to becoming another DeFi unicorn, basically. That's what we're all here for, and with the help of our great user base, I hope we can achieve that pretty easily. So this is what I have to say on the Lisbon office opening. Of course, dev team stays where it is, but we are perfectly happy with that. We have a pretty spread out dev team as well. And we don't need to move anywhere to do our exceptional job we do every day, because all we need is, the internet connection and a computer or a laptop. So that's it. Yeah. So moving further, Alex is going to be a mentor in the Polkadot base camp. This is like a camp by Outlier Ventures, pretty much where they onboard this new early emergent projects, and Alex will be mentoring some of them. And you can see 6 teams who are currently building on Substrate. They are all aiming to become future parachain projects. And Alex, since he has already pretty deep understanding of the ecosystem of how stuff works in the .sama, he has connections with other teams, with Parity. He is pretty deep. He has deep knowledge of DeFi, of NFT space, of everything blockchain related. He is going to be of great value to this base camp and to these projects. And It's also a good opportunity to get to know more people, more interesting products that are being developed, and to basically to stay competitive, you gotta do that as well. Hopefully, Alex will have time for all of that because we're pretty busy otherwise. But that's okay, and this is very exciting news. So let's go on. Now I will cover some progress on our parachain onboarding. As you know, we have won a slot in March, and we have onboarded an empty parachain as of now, and we have a publicly available roadmap where we have laid out all our plans for releasing at least the token functionality for the users. That's where you will be able to see your allocations, to manage your allocations, to see your balance, to manage your balance. And throughout the process of our actually preparation for onboarding and for becoming a parachain, we had several activities for users where we distributed tokens. So all those activities and all the distributions related to those activities will be available on the platform. And here on my screen, you can see the progress so far. I would say pretty much as of today, what we have been up to, what we have done so far, and what still needs to be done. So pretty much we have already prepared our code branch, which will go live. The code has been tested by us internally. The core part, which is going live, has been audited like a year ago by QuantStamp. We're currently in the process of security review from the SR Labs, and this is huge shout out and thanks to Parity because they have onboarded SR Labs to help all the projects who become a parachain to actually assess their security within their systems to see if there are any critical bugs and issues related to their code and their runtime logic. And fortunately for us, SR Labs didn't find any critical issues with their automated testing tools within Equilibrium. They were of great help, of course, because they found some issues, but which were fixed right away. So it's like, an online process with them. We have a chat where they send us some issues. They tell us where to fix something, and we fix it right away and update the master branch. And they check it once again and say, okay or not okay. So far, they found only two, I would say, minor issues, and those minor issues were fixed. One was related to our text palette and the cancellation of orders. And another one wasn't even one of our modules. It was like one of the system modules or a bridge modules, if I remember correctly. But it was fixed as well. So we've already upgraded the runtime version because we have to keep up with Polkadot. So that has to be done. That has been done already as well. We've included our preliminary modules and palettes, and those I just described to you. Basically, those are assets and balances and everything related to accounts and sub-accounts, and some system palettes which make the blockchain run. And these modules will go out to the release eventually. Since we have introduced, the token split, where we split EQ tokens 1 to 100, and this split was decided by our users, where majority of you actually voted to have this split performed. Currently, we have, instead of 120 million tokens, we'll be having 12 billion EQ tokens, and that means we need to update pretty much to have another way to store our balances. So if before we used 64 bits, now we will be using 128 bits, and that means we have to upgrade pretty much every single palette which works with balances in our system, and we have done that already. We've also redesigned our unit tests and integration tests, and we have covered pretty much all of our code with those. And if before we had those tests written in Rust language, right now we've migrated to JavaScript, which makes the whole testing process much smoother, much faster, and much easier. So the matter of adding new tests is just a matter of doing a couple of clicks and then writing some simple code which covers some basic functionality with unit tests. So this is pretty amazing from the dev perspective, and it will eventually speed up the whole process significantly. We have also prepared our entire DevOps infrastructure. That means our collators, both for testnet and for the mainnet, all the hardware, all the requirements, all the redundancy, all the monitoring, it has been done. And pretty much we already have the fully staged environment running, and we test everything in there. And then once we're sure that everything there works, we migrate everything to production. That's how the stuff works here from the DevOps point of view. We're currently in progress of calculating and double checking all the allocations I was talking about earlier. So these are your rewards for PLO phase 1. These are rewards for users who participated back in November of 2020 in the not EQ token swap. These are rewards for users who participated in crowd loans, and these are rewards for all our partners related to referral program and to all of the exchanges and users who voted through exchanges. So we're pretty much reconciling all the information and making sure there are no mistakes there. It's a tedious process because we want to make sure everyone gets their tokens. So don't you worry, guys. It's almost finished, and looks like sooner than later you will enjoy having your allocations directly in our parachain. We still need to prepare Genesis with those allocations. So as soon as this calculate and check allocation step is done, the Genesis will be done as well. As I told you, we will release everything first on stage and test everything there, and then we will migrate from stage to the production. And that's a TBD step. Oops, my bad. So hopefully, well, I don't want to give any false hopes here, but the dev team thinks that we can run the stage already by the end of this week and see how it works throughout the weekend. And if there are no critical issues and stuff, we will be ready to go live next week. Yeah. And once we're live, we will start onboarding external collators. That's like another part of work. And as you know, probably as of right now, most of the projects who are already parachains, they have their internal collators, so they have their own nodes up and running, and they need to onboard external collators and as well. And we've been in touch with different people who run validators in the .Sama ecosystem, and a lot of them are showing some interest in running collators in Equilibrium, and pretty much we'll pick 10 to 20 of those, because as Parity themselves say, there's no need to actually have more collators, and there still might be some performance issues if there are lots of validators in the relay network and there are lots of collators in the parachain. So we will be launching them step by step on a scheduled basis, and please follow us in our social media to actually get those news, to see whom we're adding, etc. Okay, that's the progress on our parachain onboarding. So the bottom line, expected to have it next week, I hope. Yeah, don't take my words for granted, but we'll do our best. Okay, now let's hop to development updates, and I'll tell you what we've been busy up to for the past months. I already covered the parachain onboarding. We are testing our DEX. We're going to launch in Genshiro first. And last time I already told you, and I pretty much had like a demonstration of our stage environment where the DEX works. But right now, what we have on the table, We have collected enough liquidity to launch our first trading pair, which is going to be the KSM EQD pair. So Kusama will be trading against our stablecoin. We have tested all of the API services with the market makers who are going actually to run this trading pair. We have gathered, well, I've told you about the liquidity, and there are like two issues left with, the batch cancels of orders for market makers, and sometimes the API service stops unexpectedly, but I think that's more of a hardware related issue, but otherwise we're pretty much ready, and the only thing we're waiting for is an okay from the market maker itself, who says, okay, we're ready to go live, and then we're ready to go live. Well, of course, that's not true, my bad, because we still need to do a lot of work on our interfaces. We have been performing a QA testing of the DEX, and we have found a lot of, I would say, critical user-related bugs, because position sometimes doesn't display correctly, or there is some lag, or some non-intuitive way to communicate with the interface. So we will try to fix all of that to make the launch as smooth as possible, and to make the whole UI as intuitive and as simple as possible for you guys. And pretty much, since it's a standard functionality of an exchange, you will be having like order management place. You will have a depth of book and the trades palette, and then you'll have a chart on your screen. That's it. And then your positions and orders, etc. So this is it for the DEX, and hopefully, as soon as either next week or 2 weeks from now, we will be launching the DEX in Genshiro, and that doesn't mean we stop collecting funds for other pairs. And as we wrote in our social media channels, pretty much once we collect enough money to launch another pair, we will launch them one by one. So I encourage you to bridge in assets. We already have bridges with Kusama. You can bridge assets from other chains, and we are very much looking into launching next either Ethereum or Bitcoin, because usually those are like the most commonly traded trading pairs on every DEX you look at. So please bring in those assets. Yeah. Apart from that, we are in a process of XCM integration with different projects in Kusama. And as you may know, XCM is not fully functional in Polkadot itself yet. There will be like a runtime upgrade for Polkadot in 2 weeks, where the new XCM version will go into production there. And hopefully at that time, projects in Polkadot will be able to start integration directly in Polka. But right now we're looking into Kusama, and we have already completed the integration with Parallel. We've tested it on our local testnet. We're currently integrating with Akala, and we're testing it in the Rococo testnet. And we're also in talks with Kintsugi. That's the Interlay team who are doing the Bitcoin stuff in .sama ecosystem. And as I told you earlier, Bitcoin is pretty much the asset to our exchange, because Bitcoin is a king. Yeah, and of course, the similar setup will be performed in Polkadot, and all these XCM integrations, once you pretty much test everything in Kusama, it's pretty straightforward to do everything in Polkadot. So the process should go much faster. And the only thing that needs to be done there is actually, I'll get a little bit technical here. You need to create a governance proposal to open up the communication channels between your parachains, so they can communicate via state mint or state mine between each other. And that's the only long part about the process going forward. Okay, this is all I have to say about the XCM stuff. Now about the Genshiro UI fixes. As you know, we have like liquidity bootstrap event there, and event already finished, but we still continue to collect liquidity, and we have performed some minor interface tweaks. We've also reworked some navigation inside the application, tried to make it more user-friendly and more intuitive, but it's still being tested, and hopefully sooner than later we will roll out it to production. For the equilibrium, we have this huge amount of work which needs to be done by our product managers along with our UI and UX team and designers, and we want to make interfaces of equilibrium, slick, I would say, yeah, because Kusama is kind of Genshiro is kind of toy looking like, I would say, and we want to make Equilibrium a more professional looking like platform and interface. And what I've seen so far, it's going really great. But our biggest hurdle here is that we have a lot of products for you guys. So it's really painful to understand how to make accents and put one product in front of the other one correctly, and to make at the end to make you users happy. So we're devoting a lot of our time and mind effort into that, and hopefully you will like what you will see soon. Yeah. And I already told you about the token allocations. Of course, there's UI for that, and it's currently being developed. We reworked UI there somewhat to make working with your allocations and balances a bit easier. So hopefully you will like it as well. We're also working on our backend, and this is a huge task for us as well, because we pretty much reworked all our database structure and database services, and we have several layers in there right now. So we gather like primary information from the blockchain. We aggregate that information in some fashion we need to provide all the data users need on the front end side, like calculation of interest fees, APRs, future calculations of P&L for our DEX. So everything is going to be covered by our backend here, and that will allow us to speed up the whole UI and UX significantly, because if you work directly with a chain, the UI tends to lag somewhat, and if you have everything cached or everything pre-processed for you in the database, you can actually make UI work much more smoother and much more faster. So that's the stuff we're working here on as well. So yeah, going forward, we have a public roadmap. I encourage you to go to Notion page and see for yourself. And I think we have a banner on the Equilibrium website where you can click on the link there and go to the roadmap directly. So you can see what's planned there for Equilibrium. And of course, we keep Genshiro on the table as well. And as I told you already, we are currently working hard to finally launch this DEX there and to pick up some trading activity there as well. All right, so that's it for the dev updates, and let's go further. Yeah, extended EQ lockup for the team. As you know, we had some allocations, team being one of them, and 15% of all EQ tokens of the total supply, they are set aside for the team. And once we go live, this team allocation will have following vesting parameters. So pretty much we'll have 6 months cliff period. That's a period where you can't touch these tokens in any form or anyhow. You don't have access to them. And then there will be a linear vesting over the period of 18 months. So pretty much the entire period aligns pretty well with the slot lease period, and so these tokens are going to be vested for the next 24 months from the date of launch of our parachain. Yeah. It's a good sign, hopefully, because these tokens won't go to the exchange, won't go to the circulating supply that fast. And as you know, all the projects, they strive to keep the circulating supply as low as possible to mitigate the selling pressure somewhat. And they also come up with different stuff like staking and increased liquidity farming rewards. And we also have those mechanics both in Genshiro, and we will have them definitely in Equilibrium, and hoping that will mitigate the selling pressure on EQ token as well. I know the popular question among the community is when listing, pretty much. Well, the only thing I can say here is that we are in talks with different exchanges. Those exchanges, I won't be giving you the names because I'm not sure if I can do that, but trust me, the tier 1, tier 2 exchanges, they are present, and we have applied to every single one of them, and pretty much it just depends on them who is going to list us and when. So as soon as we have any information, and as soon as we have a right or we'll be able to share it, we will definitely share it with you guys, so stay tuned. And apart from exchanges, we're also looking into stuff like automated market makers. For example, Akala, they have their Uniswap-like pools, so we could bootstrap liquidity there. Since we have bridges to different EVM-like chains and lots of AMM protocols there, we will definitely consider the possibility of opening up AMM pools for EQ tokens in those AMMs as well. And our ultimate goal is to make both EQ token and our EQD, which is our stablecoin, truly cross-chain. So think of EQD as an analog to USDT. By the way, the good news, if you didn't know, USDT is coming to Kusama, and we will definitely list USDT in Genshiro as well. And once it comes to Polka, you will see well, ecosystem native USDT in Equilibrium too. All right, moving forward, Republic partnership. As you may know from our announcements, we're preparing a Republic public sale, and the timeline is somewhere in May. The May has almost started. I believe it's going to be in the second half of May. And the total allocation for this Republic crowd sale will be 720 million EQ tokens, which amounts to 5% of our entire EQ token allocation. And we will prepare some announcements, so stay tuned, and we will open up wait lists for those people who wish to join this public sale. And I'm not sure about the mechanics because I don't have much info from our marketing team, but usually when there are wait lists, there are some additional bonuses for people who participated in wait lists. So don't hesitate, hop on right away when you see information from us, and let's make this great sale together happen. Yay! All right, that's it for my presentation for today. I'm gonna be stopping my screen share, and right now I'll be happy to answer your question, guys, if you have any. All right, so let's see what we have in Q&A section here. All right. When you will launch DEX, what trading pairs will be there, and when we are expecting X.AMM? Great question, and I've covered it almost entirely during my long speech here. Hopefully you didn't get bored. So as I told you, the DEX is tested. It's tested both inside and both outside by the market maker who's going to be running liquidity there. The only part that's keeping us from actually launching it in Genshiro is the fact that we need to work on interfaces some more to test everything thoroughly, so there are no critical issues for you users there. Because it's a complex product. It relates both to our on-chain stuff and the user-facing information like P&L calculations and position calculations. It relates to the database and backend stuff, and we want to make sure that everything works smooth and great here. Regarding the x.amm, that's I believe is present in our public roadmap, so please go ahead and see it there. But in broad strokes, the process is like this. First, we will launch our empty parachain with all the EQ token allocations and rewards. Then after a complete audit, we will launch our core functionality, which is our automated market, which is our money market, which is our DEX, and which is our AMM pools, and x.amm being one of them. And I'm really excited about this launch as well, because as you may know, especially those people who follow us pretty long, that this AMM allows us to price these X dots at a discount to current dots with really, really clever mechanics, and hopefully it will be of great use to all of you users. And this AMM, it can be used not only for X dots, but for general products of providing fixed rate interest loans and fixed term interest loans to users. So we could launch pretty much anything we want there, and it's a matter, of just building up a whole line of products on this pretty amazing technology. So hopefully I'll have answered this question. So I'm moving next. What about XCM integration? Yeah, as I told you, we've already integrated with in Kusama. It was Moonbeam, it was Parallel, currently Akala, and that all has been done in testnet. We still need to move out to mainnet. Mainnet, hopefully, in Genshiro, we will go live with Parallel in the Kala, and Moonbeam sometime later. And once we are done with Genshiro, as I told you, it's only, all the technical stuff will be set aside because the integration is pretty much done and running. So we will need to do some, business and related coordination with Parity, like opening up the proposals and opening up the channels and voting on those proposals, etc., etc. But XCM itself is not yet in the Polkadot, and it's going to be there in 2 or 3 weeks. And only after that, projects in Polkadot will be able to start integrating with each other. In Kusama, projects can do that already. Comment here: how long will the Polka Defiance last, and how many speakers we are expecting? I encourage you to go to the Polka Defiance website and see for yourself. Let me share the link here in the chat. All right. Next one. When you will release Equilibrium application in Ledger Live? Good question. Thank you very much. And pretty much it depends on Ledger Live. We have sent them in our code base. They need to check it for any potential malware and perform their security audit. And since we are not aware of their pipeline whatsoever, it takes them awfully a long amount of time, which bugs not only our users but us as well. But we can't really do anything about that. But I'll try to get an update on that next week, and we will return to our community with the answer to this question. Apart from that, we already have the app available to users directly who, I guess, can risk, want to risk, and install it directly on their devices. I can assure you we didn't put any malware there. There's no intention of doing that. And that's pretty much the same code that will eventually go to Ledger Live. So if you really want to use Ledger, and if you really need to use Ledger with Equilibrium, please contact us. We can share all the source code with you and the instruction on how to install it directly to your device. All right. Next question. What about Republic? Can you share how will it affect the project? We're still in the process of negotiating the final terms, so I can't really share much information here as of right now. And we're still preparing some additional landing pages for the event, gathering all the information. And as soon as we'll have enough to share with our community, we'll definitely share it with everyone on all of our social media channels. We'll ask our partners to retweet, reshare, repost, so to have the maximum possible coverage. In terms of how it will affect the project, well, you could judge by the allocation, which is only 5% for the Republic sale. So in terms of increasing the circulating supply, it shouldn't be that much of an issue. In terms of getting the broader adoption and the broader interest from a broader public, it's definitely a win situation, because any DeFi project strives only when it has a big, loyal, and ever-expanding user base who actually use it for their needs. Yeah. All right. Next, when will DEX be launched? I already answered that. So if you didn't listen, well, you can always watch the recording. All right. Can you introduce an alternative to Ethereum network to bring ERC20 tokens to Genshiro? Definitely, we already have Binance Smart Chain as an alternative, and the introduction of Polygon, it's just a matter of business decision pretty much, because code-wise and technology-wise, we're pretty much ready. We just need to deploy smart contracts, for example, to Polygon, and bridge contracts, and set up the pallets the right way, add additional blockchain, and we're good to go. But of course, there are tons of other issues here, like bridging same tokens from different networks and how to go about that. And we haven't really thought too deep about those issues. And for example, with the introduction of USDT in Kusama, how should we treat Kusama-based USDT which we bridge from Ethereum, USDT which we bridge from Binance Smart Chain, and USDT we bridge from Polygon? Should it be one token? Should it be different tokens? Should we introduce some kind of swap mechanics via our Curve protocol? So pretty much those are still open questions we're considering and discussing. And to make something really and truly composable, it's like a totally different project. And I think actually Composable Finance are the guys who are doing that, because judging by their white paper, they are actually trying to come up with this idea of the cool bridge, which would manage your liquidity in different chains automatically, and pretty much treating one asset as one asset and not differentiating it by being a different asset if it sits in a different chain. Yeah. Hopefully I answered the question here. Approximately by when do you think the bailsman pool, market makers pool target will be met? Oh man, I have no idea here, but it depends on you guys, on you, our dear users. So if you want to trade Ethereum, for example, go ahead and bring Ethereum tokens. If you want to trade Bitcoins, go ahead and bring in Bitcoins. If you want to trade BNB, go ahead and bring BNB. But as I told you earlier, the first pair we'll be launching is KSM, which is, I believe, of utmost importance for the entire Kusama ecosystem. So that's a good news, actually. Yeah. And definitely, we're also considering tokens of other projects and launching the trading of our Genshiro token and eventually EQ tokens when we launch DEX in Equilibrium. So all that is down the road in our pretty huge and intense roadmap. All right. Next one. All right. I think people are just keep asking more and more questions, but we still have time, so let's do it. Will Equilibrium Network use EQ token for gas fee? As we know, Genshiro using Gens as gas fee. Will Genshiro communicate with Equilibrium X.dot on Genshiro? All right, that's a really good question. And of course, EQ token is Equilibrium native blockchain token, so it will be definitely used as a gas fee along with all the utilities similar to what you have seen in Genshiro. For example, it will be used as an interest-bearing token, so you will be paying interest. Borrowers will be paying interest fees in those. We will reward validators in Genshiro in EQ token. If we introduce some other products and mechanics related to, for example, paid subscription to Oracle, that will be also paid in EQ tokens. When we introduce democracy and governance palettes, EQ tokens will play a crucial role there as well. But going fully decentralized and introducing democracy, that's like one of the last steps in our roadmap, because we still want to share with you lots of stuff we have produced and developed and before actually going fully decentralized. So keep in touch. And regarding X.dot, definitely our bridge not only works with EVM-based chains, but with substrate-based chains. So it's a matter of adding another module to our Equilibrium chain and adding the support for the Genshiro chain to support the transfer of assets back and forth between Equilibrium and Genshiro. And apart from that, if you have heard probably, Parity itself, they're making some kind of a bridge. I don't know the details. I've just heard it on some announcement channel that they're bridging Polkadot and Kusama ecosystems themselves, and that will probably work via XCM or some sort of its modification. And once that is up and running, we'll definitely use that as well. But you won't have any troubles moving your tokens around in both ecosystems right from the start. So stay assured. We are prepared for that, and our bridge we have actually tested that locally, so everything is fine. All right, would you be introducing an option to pay our liabilities when one click? I think if you can make it happen, it would be cool, as you will help reduce transaction costs in Genshiro. That is a really good question, but well, the short answer is no. The long answer, I can, if you write me a DM in Telegram, I can dwell into the details. I'm afraid right now we just don't have much time, because there are lots of options of how to go about this issue of managing bailsman liabilities. And pretty much what I would personally love to do is to actually discuss those options with the community, because we need to hear your feedback. We want to see which one would fit you the best and which one would actually make you the most happy. Yeah, I would say that. Since the rewards of bails and pool are locked, the pool targets are not met. So would it be possible to at least have those locked rewards staked? Yeah, that's a good question as well. And we've discussed it pretty much this week, I believe. We're working on the withdrawal functionality. That's being point number one. Point number two, we'll definitely rework the reward mechanics for people who stake their tokens into market maker pools, and you will get higher rewards. So stay tuned. As soon as we know all the details, we will share them with you on our social media channels. All right, guys, I think I've answered all of the questions. And we are almost out of time. Actually, we've started late, so I guess we can run for a couple more minutes. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask. Once again, I encourage all of you to join our tomorrow's Polka Defiance event. I've shared the link here in the chat, and as you can see, it's going to be packed. We have lots of panels, lots of interesting discussions, lots of projects represented from the ecosystem, lots of people from venture funds, and some interesting discussions are planned for the event. And I'm going to be hosting one of the panels towards the end of the event itself. So I encourage you to join there. I've prepared lots of provocative and interesting questions for the panel members to discuss, and hopefully it's going to be fun. Yeah. All right, guys. So if no more questions, I believe we can finish up today's community call. It was fun, leading it all alone. I felt a bit lonely without Alex, but he had some technical issues. So he's not lost, don't worry. He will join us tomorrow, and he'll join us during the next community call. For now, I wish you all the good day, good evening, wherever you are at, and all the best, and stay safe. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.